We've all been told it's not nice to go out there and objectify other people based on their physical characteristics. The male gaze is pretty much evil. And we're not even supposed to do it with fictional characters. You can't really show sexy women in comic books anymore. But apparently there is a little hypocrisy in comic books because for National Superhero Day, DC Comics has made it a point to show off Nightwing's assets, if you know what I mean. And everyone has run a story about it, talking about Nightwing's ass. Apparently it's okay to objectify Dick Grayson and his assets, his tasty cakes, if you will. But you can't do that to women. And here to talk with me about the absolute hypocrisy of all of it is comic book writer, editor, writer on season 4 of Young Justice, Aaron Sparrow. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great. It's National Superhero Day, and we're going to talk about Nightwing's ass. This is the greatest moment. It's all been building to this. Everything in my life.
How did we get here? You can't even show a sexy woman on a comic book cover, but you can have these. You saw the weird covers we had. Like all the Robins essentially in homoerotic, poses, and they're all bending over and showing off their twig and giggle berries through their fucking underwear. And now to celebrate Superhero Day, we got to show off Dick Grayson's ass. But I can't ogle some sweet looking comic book superheroes fun bags.
Well, I'll tell you, it's weird to me. Ogling comic book art, obviously it's a medium that has built itself on the sexy presentation of characters, these idealized Greek godlike forms, but it's always really strange to me when people are like a little too into the comic book art to where they're like, yeah, that's always weird to me. I just can't go there. But I've had this discussion with people recently about like what to show and what not to show, and I said you can do nudity in a comic book, but it's not as sexy as, say, like when Jim Lee drew Rogue in the Savage Land and like the tattered clothing and things like that. That was sexier. It leaves a little something to the imagination. I think always a little and if you had just drawn her nude, that would inherently be kind of less interesting. It's the clothing, it's it's all those things working together. As far as Nightwing's ass goes, I think it's great. I celebrate it. It's so well-rounded. NASA could calibrate its instruments by it. It should be put up on billboards, and we should be talking about it. Take a bite out of that apple, America. But at the same time, it's a double standard. You can't have that. If we're going to ogle Nightwing's ass, then we need to be able to check out Storm's assets. We need to be checking out the ladies. Psylocke needs to be able to be sexy. Miss Marvel needs to be able to have great cans.
Exactly.
That's just.
I should be able to think about Motorboat and Captain Marvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she looks like a boy most of the time.
That should be the first thing you think about when you see Captain Marvel.
It pisses me off, Aaron. We had that thing. You know what G4 is?
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm very.
You had that dude on there. I think his name is Frost, and I guess there was something about.
I think Frost.
Olivia. That dude's a girl.
That Frost is a woman. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I don't want to misgender anybody. I thought it was just an androgynous dude. That girl Frost was saying like she wanted to like eat the ass in like bloody pussy of like what was her name, Olivia Wilde or something?
No, Megan Fox. Yeah,
Megan Fox. They kind of look the same.
This big tear about how Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb back on the old successful G4. How they are not here for to be easy on the eyes for you. I think was her exact quote. And throwing out this big rant about objectification of women and her being upset that people don't think that she's as quote unquote bangable as those former hosts. It kind of threw this big tantrum and caused G4 a bunch of problems, lost them a bunch of subscribers. If you go back and you watch those old G4s, Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb were definitely there to be easy on the eyes for you. They were also there to give their commentary, and I think that they did a very good job. I thought that people listened to what they had to say. I think Morgan Webb especially was very well respected amongst gamers. I think that her opinion was heated. I know that she had done a couple of segments. She did one that that still stands out in my mind where she was doing a bit about how games were trying to put advertisements into the game. Like they were trying to like see what you looked at online and then put that on billboards and things like that inside the game. And she was making the point that if you're going to feed me advertising, then I'm not paying for the game. The game has to be free. And I thought it was a really great take. So yeah, I think Morgan Webb was really respected, and she also then did a thing in either like Stuff or Maxim, I remember back in the day. So she was definitely trying to be sexy, and whether she was doing that for her, she was doing it for the show, is neither here nor there. The fact is, she was there to be easy on the eyes. So for for Frost to come out and say that, and then to like turn around and objectify Megan Fox, it's again, it's all these people, all these rules that they try and put on you. It's rules for thee and not for me.
I think it's just kind of gross in comic books because they've literally tried to take scalps over this. They try to end Frank Cho's career. They've tried to end J. Scott Campbell's career because they have sexy women on the covers. They're like, oh, you're objectifying. MJ's waist could never be like that. She could never bend that way. That woman's tits could never be that big. Shame on you, Frank Cho. And then we're putting out this, advertisement or this promo of Nightwing, and we're only talking about his best assets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. So, it's either one way or the other. Which way do you want it? Now, the people that are complaining, the people that are out there going like, you can't have the sexy women and this is objectifying and where are her organs and all the nonsense that we see on Twitter. Those are people on Twitter. They don't buy comic books. They don't spend money with your company. They should be ignored and shunned and laughed at. Unfortunately, companies took them seriously for a while. But I think we're finally hitting the point where those people are going to be ignored. They're just going to be pushed to the side as they should be with their nonsense opinions and their non-buying power. I think we're kind of we're definitely, I think, seeing more of an equilibrium come back to the national conversation. So good for that. So I'm pro Nightwing's ass. Put it on billboards, shout it from the rooftop, and next National Superhero Day, let's talk about some of the ladies.
Absolutely. I think the fact that there could be financial repercussions, obviously, with what happened to G4, when you go out there and try to chastise people, when it's certainly something that was kind of being sold, the customer is always right, and we do have the buying power, and that's where the income comes from. So when you go out there and you disrespect your own customers and try to talk down to them, which has certainly happened in comic books as well as G4, I do like that there are repercussions because you shouldn't be able to talk to people like that. And if you do, you shouldn't expect them to give you money.
No, not at all. You should be able to tell people, if that's your opinion, you think that gamers are trash, you think that they're a bunch of sexists and things like that. Well, you were a gamer channel, and we're not going to watch you anymore. And that's exactly what happened. You've seen, they put a lot of money into relaunching G4. And Frost was the iceberg that sunk their Titanic. So
I had videos doing better than them.
Oh,
my
absolutely.
channel's tiny.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. A lot of those people just tuned out. They didn't unsubscribe necessarily, but they just tuned out, stopped watching. They don't have the reach. People don't want to be preached to. No matter what. I don't want to be preached to with my own views. I don't need you in a comic book telling me, what I should think, even if I agree with it. Just tell me.
I want to validate all of your opinions, Aaron. That's what I'm here for.
I don't need anybody to validate my opinions.
You're Captain Marvel, and I'm the lady in the comic book telling you how great you are.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's good. Because that's what makes a good superhero, is just a constant validation from everybody around them.
Listen, I am all for bigger titties, tighter asses on male characters. Hell, I want to see a return of the superhero-sized moose knuckle on the superheroes. When you look at Superman nowadays, it looks like he's been castrated. Throw his balls back on the character. Those things should be, grapefruits. He's a goddamn Kryptonian.
They are filled with the power of our yellow sun.
Exactly.
No, that's... these characters should be sexy. They should be idealized. They should be something to look up to. The big problem that we have with fiction right now is that everybody wants fiction to be real and representative. And it's like, well, I'm fat and there's no fat superheroes, You
got Faith?
Does anybody read Faith?
No.
Is Faith still being published? No. And do you know why? Because nobody wanted to see that. The people that are crying out for that aren't the ones spending money.
The only people that wanted Faith were fat women that wanted to cosplay and not look ridiculous.
I guess maybe that's true. And there you go. Okay, you've got Faith, but I mean, I guess even they're like going like, well, can we have someone besides Faith?
Someone cool. I liked it when her superhero name was Zephyr, like she was like this enormous balloon. You know what I mean?
You know, back in the old Valiant days, you know, some of the other team members and things like that would make fun of her and call her Zeppelin, and that was used as, you know, that was used as like a teachable moment. It's like, yeah, people are going to be cruel to you, and you know, you need to learn to roll with the punches, and I just think that
roll.
Literally roll with the punches. I actually, this is going to sound like I'm making it up, but I remember I was in a Barnes and Noble, and Faith had come out in graphic novel form, and it was there, and it was somebody's pick of the week. You know how they do like the employee pick of the weeks? Somebody had chosen that as like their pick, and there were a couple people standing there looking at the rack, and the one of them said,
"You mean the comic rack, not like the rack."
Yeah, the comic rack. And someone said something about like, how does she fly? And the other going, so well, obviously through the power of flatulence. And I was like, yeah, because you know she's a big girl, she likes to eat. That was, you know, kind of the immediate joke that people made. So it's yeah, like let's go back to when these characters were representative of like Greek gods and mythology, and were things to aspire to. We need more things to aspire to. I don't need things to remind me of my reality. Like, you know, when I saw Endgame and Thor was fat and depressed, I was like, oh, finally a superhero that represents me. But I would rather, you know, that's kind of a joke, but I would rather see Thor kicking ass like he did in Infinity War. You know, the best moment for me of Infinity War is where he shows up on the battlefield and just a badass, and, you know, bring me Thanos, and flies up into the air and there's lightning crackling all around him. That's the shit right there. That's what I want out of my superhero fiction. I don't want superheroes to be like me. I want us to aspire to be more like superheroes.
No, superheroes should be more like me. I am what they call peak performance. The Idealized, man.
I think more superheroes should have fine beards like I do.
Aaron and I mentioned J. Scott Campbell, one of the finest cover artists you're going to find in the industry. He's got his own website. He makes a ton of money with sexy ass female covers, and he takes some shit every once in a while. Aaron and I actually talked about this not too long ago. He was taking fire, and he decided to fire back. This was a good video about how J. Scott Campbell turned the tables on one of his internet trolls.